Bonjour. My name is Cathy Robitaille. I am owner of the Art Gallery Urbania. Welcome to Art Gallery and from Quebec. And congratulations from the time competition Art Part to Art. Donc, my collaborateur to translate interview, Christophe Devin. Thank you.
Hello and welcome, Laura.
Hello.
To speak with you. I will ask you some questions about your experience and your art, and I'll be glad to hear from you. So first question, what prompted you to paint?
When I was a little girl, my mom was an artist, and so there was always lots of paints around, oil paints, acrylic paints, canvases, things like that. So I spent a lot of time sort of beside her, just playing away with things. But I didn't go on and do it as like in school so much. It was more something I just did on my own on the side. And I went off and studied science instead, which is very, very different than art. But I kept doing my art while I was studying science. And at one point I was doing paintings for the Montreal Children's Hospital. They were hung in the ICU between the beds so that the kids had something to look at. And then after that, I took a few years off, about 20, because I was raising my children. And then after that, I started doing Inktober, which is an annual thing where you do one ink drawing every day for the month of October. So you do 31 drawings. I started doing that and I just never stopped. I just kept going and going and going until I found colored pencil. And
yeah, that's wonderful.
That was it.
Yeah. And what is your style of painting?
I'm not sure what I would call it. Some people call it photorealism. I don't think it really is because I don't try and copy the picture so much. You do try and make the images look real, but I do try and not, I don't want it to look like a photograph. So it's not sort of the extreme realism stuff that some people do.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is, I mostly do animals at the moment, although I plan to do some other stuff, but I try to bring out the emotion that I get from that animal. So I try to do animals that I've met either here, back in Quebec, or on my travels. And I try and then, I find when you meet an animal, you do get a feeling from them, whether it's, oh, they're so cute, or boy, are they scary, that kind of thing. I try and bring in some of the feelings I get from the animals.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And what is your technique you use to paint?
I use colored pencils. So they're archival color pencils. They're not your standard Crayola color pencils that you get at the store. They're significantly more pigmented and a heck of a lot more expensive. And I use them on what's called Stonehenge paper, which is 100% cotton. Mm-hmm. And sorry, my dogs are barking out there. It's 100% cotton, and you do many very, very thin layers of pencil on top of each other, and the colors change as you sort of go through the layers. You have to go from light to dark. So once something is dark, you cannot go back to light, which is sort of backwards from a lot of other mediums. So, and on any given space on my drawing, there's a minimum of 30 or 40 layers that have gone in, and I'll put complementary colors underneath and things like that. Things like black are not added till, the last hour of drawing kind of thing. It's, it's more the layers of different colors to create those darks rather than using, your white and your black, your standard colors. And then when you do the layers, you can blend them by using mineral spirits. So it melts the pigments, and then you can blend them together so you can get the colors you're looking for.
Okay, it's very impressive. Do you have collections currently or for the future?
I have a few collections. I do one that is sort of animals that I've met along along the way here in Canada. So I call that sort of Canadiana. So I've got things like, Canadian geese and foxes and squirrels and, your sort of standard animals from around here. I have another set that I'm doing, which is farms. I have just moved on to a 100-acre farm, and there's farms all around me. And the picture that you chose is of a cat that lives down in the barn just next to me and is owned by the little girl there. So it's a barn cat. I have another series that I'm doing that is from a trip I just did to the Galapagos. I was in the Galapagos as the pandemic hit and got out just in the nick of time. I was trailing 16 teenagers with me because I work at a high school. And so I've been using the photographs I took on that trip to create a bunch of the different pieces in my collection.
Okay, so your painting is very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less.
But what are your sources of inspiration when you paint?
Well, I have to feel a connection with the animal. I have to feel like, there was some connection. Like the tortoise that I painted was a tortoise that was right beside us while we were having lunch. And I have a lot of memories of that day in Galapagos. And I don't know, there was something about that tortoise. He had a lot of attitude, and he was just a really phenomenal animal. So I have to feel something. It's very hard to draw a picture of an animal I've never seen, or an animal that I just haven't interacted with at all. I find that very difficult.
Okay, so in your experience, what is maybe the most artistic experiences that you're very proud of?
I think I'm most, I think surprised is more the word than proud, at how quickly I've managed to figure the color pencil out. I've only been doing this since the winter of 2018, so it's been what is that, like 2-3 years that I've been working in this medium at all. And it just came to me naturally. It just, I watched a few YouTube videos and stuff like that, but it just seemed to really suit me. I love the ability to get that detail in there. I'm not good at painting things that aren't detailed.
So in that direction, what maybe are your most important dreams that are coming?
Do you mean like what am I hoping to draw in the future? Like that?
Maybe what are your projects?
My project.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, as I said, I've just moved up to our 100-acre farm, and I'm leaving my work in the city, and I'm hoping to try and make a go of this and make enough money to not have to work outside of the art room. I'd rather spend my time in the studio. I'm in an area with lots of galleries, and there's a huge art community up here, so I'm really hoping to get involved with all of that. And the next project that I'm really looking forward to, I'm waiting for COVID to end because I can't get the photographs done at the moment. But I want to do, so I have a long history with jazz in my family. It's something that my dad and I shared a love for, and I have a daughter who now studies it and plays professionally. And I want to do the connection between a musician and their instrument. And I've got this whole image in my head, but I can't get the pictures done until I can get a bunch of musicians into a room. So that's my problem right now.
Okay. To conclude, in the next months, and that will be my last question. In the next months, your creation will look like something like what you intend to do in your creation for the next months.
For the next few months, well, I still have a few things I want to do in some of my other series. I want to visit a bunch of the farms up here and really sort of expand on my farm series, and get a bunch of new photographs to work with for that. And I want to get into this new series on jazz and instruments, and I love drawing hands, which isn't in the picture that you chose. But I'm really excited about getting involved in that, but I am just waiting. Ontario is still under total lockdown, so I can't
Okay.
get going on that just yet.
Okay, it's very interesting to see that you change your subject of painting. And to conclude, what is maybe your last word to conclude?
My last word to conclude. I'm really honored to have been chosen for this. It means a lot to me. Not just winning, but also it coming from Quebec. Quebec is very, very important to me. I wish I still had all my French. I used to work in French. I had no trouble with French. But
Yeah.
after 30 years of being away, I've lost so much of it. And to have this connection back with my home means an awful lot.
Okay, you know our Urbania Gallery is really like really your heart painting, and it was also an honor for Cathy to have you as an artist and for the gallery. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
do you want to conclude, Cathy? So,
Thank you
last
very
word?
much. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.